So what are some of the common mistakes that a lot of footballers make that are really destroying their growth, really preventing them from stepping into and untapping or tapping into their full potential as a player? Well, we're gonna go over 3 of the most common, 3 of the most deadly in this video, so that's coming up next. Hey everyone, I've teamed up with OneFootball to bring you a little bit of a contest that is absolutely free to join, where you can win an MLS All-Stars jersey from the upcoming game between the MLS All-Stars and the Liga MX All-Stars happening on August 25th. This is going to be a really big game, a really fun game to tune into and watch, and you can win this jersey simply by going down to my description, clicking on the link, downloading the OneFootball app, and then just following the instructions there. And then you're going to answer the question, who do you think is going to win and why? And after that, you are submitted to win the jersey. Just read all of the rules down below. It's absolutely free to apply, and good luck to everyone that enters. Now let's get into the rest of this video. Hi there, welcome to Simplysoccer. My name is Dave. If you are new here, where I'm releasing videos every single week to help you improve your game and stand out on the pitch. Now, if you haven't already, as usual, make sure you get my ebook, Game Changer. It's free down in the description, and it's gonna help take your game to that next level. It's gonna be a game changer. Now, without further ado, let's get into some of these mistakes that so many footballers make that really wrecks their growth, prevents them from growing as a footballer and becoming that player that can get to that next level they want to get to. So we're starting with number 3, and these 3 I'm going to be going over are some of the most crucial and some of the most common and the ones you really need to get a handle on. And so I'm going to talk about one I talk about a lot first, and it's the mental side of the game. If you do not have the mental fortitude, the mental toughness, if you don't have confidence and belief in yourself, and you're not working on the mental side, which is a skill, like anything you're going to do with the ball at your feet, the mental side is also a skill you develop. And if you don't develop it, you are not going to fulfill your potential as a player. You are not going to grow as much as you can. In fact, this is one of the biggest things in my eyes that holds a lot of players back, is that belief in their ability, that mental toughness to have the persistence and the grit needed to keep growing when it's tough, when they're sore, when maybe they have been rejected from a few trials, or maybe they've had a few bad games. That's when the mental side really comes in and allows you to get back up, allows you to continue to grow despite the setbacks. And so you really need to start looking at the mental side of your game. You really need to work on this. And again, even if it's not so great right now, don't worry, this can be worked on. There are things that you can do. I have videos I go over on this channel. I have a course called Complete Soccer Confidence you can look at if you want to invest in something. But there are things you can do to work on this, just like you can go out and practice your skills with a ball at your feet to improve that. There are things you can do for this area too. Before moving on, actually put in the comments, I am developing the mental side of my game. And now we will move on to number 2. Now, number 2 is not consistently working on the basics. And this is massive. What you have to understand is as you get higher and higher and higher in football, higher up the levels, when you start going from more of like youth level to maybe more of an amateur or maybe high school level or whatever it is in your country, maybe to local travel team or club team or whatever, the higher in level you go to when you're playing with better and better players, you will notice their fundamentals and basics get better and better. They get faster and faster. They are making less mistakes with those basics. The better at the basics you get, the better a player you will be. The better at the fundamentals you are, the better a player you will be. Sure, there's more to it than that, but really the foundation, the core is that when it comes to the skills with the ball at your feet. You know, the higher in level you go, the better your passing, the better your dribbling needs to be, the better your shooting, your ball control needs to be, the better your decision making needs to be, which will start to improve as you improve these things as well. And so never neglect the basics. And I would recommend you work in your individual training on the basics all of the time. If you look at some of the best players, that's what they do. You look at the top pros that play in the Premier League, the Bundesliga, things like this, you know, it's about repetition. It's about doing those simple things they're going to be doing in matches all of the time, to the point where they have mastered it, to the point where, you know, they can just do it without thinking. That's what you want to aim for. It's going to take some time, but really focusing on those basics will improve your game and also your confidence in what you do by quite a bit. If you're enjoying this video so far, or you've gotten something out of it, please hit that like button. And now we'll move on to number 1. And this is another huge one that is just going to prevent you from growing in football and any other area of life. If your goal is to get to the pro level, you need to work on this. If your goal is to get to a good college level, same thing. If your goal is just to be a better player, same thing. And it is you need need to leave your comfort zone. There is no growth to be had, and we're talking about mistakes that lead to no growth or prevent you from growing as a player. There is no growth within a comfort zone. If this is your comfort zone, I guarantee the thing that's gonna make you grow or help you grow the most is over here. It is outside the comfort zone. You cannot expect to grow, become a better player by doing things that you're only comfortable with. This applies to things that you're gonna need to do with a ball in your training, and is also gonna apply to things outside of it. Sometimes this may mean that you need to start going to trials of better teams and possibly facing rejection or being in environments you're not used to and growing in that way to get on a better team. Or maybe you're in a big fish in a small pond, which just means you're obviously the best player on your team, you're playing in a league you're way too good for, and it's time to step up and start playing with players who are as good as you or perhaps a little bit better. You know, you have to leave your comfort zone in order to grow. This could be that you're pushing yourself and challenging yourself in your individual training more and more, doing drills you were a little bit afraid of doing because you're not so good at them, but know that working on those things will help take your game to that next level. You know, looking at those weaknesses and really focusing on them. Maybe you have a very weak foot and you need to work on that, and you know it's gonna make you a better player. And yeah, you're gonna look silly at first. You're gonna look like, you know, that you've never used it, or it's just for you to stand on, and maybe even that you're not so good at with it. But you have to work on it and get outside your comfort zone and risk making those mistakes in order to grow. And one of the biggest things you'll do, not only in football, but in life, is going outside your comfort zone, because that is when you start taking quantum leaps in your growth. That is when things start to move fast. That is when, you know, where people who are actually succeeding go. They go outside their comfort zone. And just remember, there's no growth to be had within your comfort zone, or there's very little. You know, the thing that's really gonna help you grow is that challenge, is that thing you know you need to do, but is outside your comfort zone. And if you go do that, even if you do it nervously, even if you do it and you're not so confident in it, the mere action of doing that thing is going to help you improve. And if you keep doing that, you'll start becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable. You will start becoming comfortable with leaving your comfort zone. And when you make that a skill, there's not going to be much that can stop you from improving and growing repeatedly over time. All right, everyone. So those are 3 of the mistakes that really stop so many players from growing. Those are 3 of the main ones that I see. There are, of course, other ones, but I really believe if you look at these in your own life and your own game, and you work on these and you stop making these mistakes and you do some of the things I mentioned, you will see massive growth instead of not seeing growth. So thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I'll see you in the next one.